Hello, Ryan here, aka Mac, and welcome. So this video is what is intended for the third quarter patch of the year 3.7. This is set to drop at the end of September 2019. As always, this is just the intention of what CIG want to bring to us on this update. Things will change and will move as new patches get released and they reassess everything. And as the game develops, new features become prioritized. But with that said, kicking off with characters, we have the Bounty Hunter's armor. This is just the armor suit that is typically associated with bounty hunters and their ilk. For locations, we have the cargo depot space stations, which are positioned close to planets and jump points. These are the first ports of call for haulers and cargo ships and will be used to create trade routes and delivery points throughout the verse. Very exciting. We're also getting the rest stop station interior variant, so expanding the interior module and archetype libraries to have wider variations and diversities of the interiors of these current rest stop stations that we have now. We also have, which is very exciting in my eyes, rest stop space stations unoccupied. Now these are typically found in less travelled locations, and some of them will have basic fuel and repair functionality with minimum crew, security and shopping options, but it will also include derelicts, not necessarily empty, but derelict stations closed by the owners, hopefully inhabited either by pirates at first, I'm sure, but I would love to see aliens and creatures occupying them as well, and we have to go in and retrieve stuff from there, or we have a distress signal and whatnot, but that I am very happy to see coming this year. Anyway, for AI, they have the NPC improvements for the shopkeeper, so improving the shopkeeper AI archetype, and including different interactions as well as other NPCs. We have FPS combat with different weapon types. This is at 1 out of 5 currently. Getting the AI able to use a wider variety of weaponry and react to the player behaviour and environment dynamically and engaging strategically and realistically. Anything that improves the AI FPS, I am all game for. Finally, for AI, the advanced gunship defensive manoeuvres. This is creating defensive manoeuvres for the gunship pilot, so he will perform this while in combat, making sure that he gets the best angle on you for maybe turret gunners and so forth. Now onto gameplay, we have refueling fuel scooping. This is improving how the hydrogen intakes regenerate fuel, taking environmental density and flight vectors into account when formulating the regeneration amount. Player locomotion for stairs improvements. This is taken from the Squadron 42 roadmap, just improving the look of both player and NPCs moving up and down stairs at various speeds, what they call procedural foot alignment. Also NPC healing, again Squadron 42, expanding the healing gameplay using items like the Medipen on other players or NPCs. Very, very useful, and also the first step to getting the medical gameplay in, so I am very excited for that. FPS close combat, so improving the look and feel of the takedown mechanic, and close melee combat, allowing for stealth kills with both a knife or bare hands. Death animation improvements, making the player and NPC deaths look more realistic, kind of a blend between the ragdoll and animations. Player swim. They're adding the basic functionality for the player to be able to swim. This also includes support for swimming in hazardous liquids, which could kill or damage the player. Obviously, each planet or moon will have its own type of liquid on the surface, but being able to swim is pretty fun. Player status system, so expanding on the current status for the player, like its health, oxygen and so forth, but also including thirst, hunger, rest, inebriation, hygiene and temperature. Each of these having knock-on effects for the player's stamina and ability, and also this will be used by the AI behaviours to make intelligent decisions based on their own condition and the condition of others. Obviously this isn't going to be game breaking for the sake of you need to eat, sleep and so forth all the time. It will just have slight buffs and whatnot. Power system version 2, so they're expanding the power system to provide systemic gameplay including doors, lighting and lift systems to deal with the impacts of EMPs. PvP bounties, so security forces will search for stolen and illicit items and respond appropriately, while the NPCs and shop owners can distinguish whether they will deal in stolen merchandise or not. Cockpit experience improvements, just adding a little more visual and audio effects to reflect the state of the ship, along with more immersive interactions within the cockpit so you feel like you're there. Ship to station docking, this is a big one, being able to dock and spawn ships connected to space stations. This is also required for larger ships to spawn at certain locations. Repair, refuel and restock kiosks version 1. So instead of just using your Mobiglass, being able to go into a place and use a service kiosk, which will just provide more flexible interface for ship services and maintenance for players, which is a nice step in the right direction. Then finally for gameplay, physical inventories, just creating localized inventory systems for a more immersive and realistic experience, meaning you won't be able to carry all the weapons you have just bought. You'll only be able to carry what you could technically, physically carry. So for ships and vehicles, we have the Vanguard Harbinger. This is just improvements. This is at 1 out of 9. The Vanguard Sentinel is at 1 out of 12. And the Drake Cutlass Red is also scheduled for 3.7. For weapons and items, we have the Bearing GP33 Grenade Pistol, the Hedeby Salvo Frag Pistol, and the Kroneg FL33 Laser Cannon, which is for your ship, and then the Clausen Werner Lumen 5 Submachine Gun. So some really good FPS weapons there. I'm looking forward to trying them out. Finally, 3.7 Core Tech. We have large-scale shadow improvements, which will improve the current shadow tech used for planets, which should make it a little more consistent, improve the visuals and make it more performance friendly, hopefully. Also, this is going to be used for capital ships. We have server to client actor networking rework. Now this is the next stage from the client to server version. This is basically improvements to better communicate player actions from the server to the client. So improving the positioning and movement of other players and NPCs on your client, reducing perceived lag and rubber banding. Very important. I think if they can get that in as soon as possible, that would be great. Also improved terrain shadows, so improving the shadows cast by terrain objects like trees and rocks. Shield tech replacement, so they're replacing the current shield tech for one that has better visuals and effects, more fitting to the ship form and reacting dynamically to the ship and the damage it's taking. And finally, atmospheric tech improvements, so including additional density layers for things like the ozone layer, creating a more natural looking sky at sunset on planets. Anyway, that is 3.7, that is what's planned for 3.7. The big features in my eyes are things like the Cutlass Red, kind of the start of refueling gameplay and healing, swimming, expanding the player status, docking, also physical inventories, but also some good core tech coming too, like the shadow improvements, the shield rework and the atmospheric improvements, which will make things look very pretty. But most importantly, reducing that lag and rubber banding is excellent news. As I've said, 3.7 is set for the end of September, so there's a long way to go before we get that. But I'm excited to hear and see more on these features as the year goes by. Do let me know your thoughts and what you're looking forward to. There's going to be some more roadmap videos coming later on, so be sure to hit that subscribe button and the thumbs up button. Follow me over on twitch.tv/supermacbrothers as we delve further into the roadmap and also play the game together. Big thank you to my patrons. If you do want to support my channel further and you enjoy my videos, please follow the link to my Patreon page below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.